wiping my face with my dog. Coconut oil pulling. Do you coconut oil pull? No pressure if you don't. Do you do turnarounds? No pressure if you don't. Let's turn around the opposite of your asshole. Let's turn around the opposite of your anus. Don't hate us because you ain't us. Be us so you don't have to hate us. Don't hate us because you ain't us. Is that a turnaround right there? Oh yeah. Definitively so. Definitively so. Defining us definitively. Coconut oil pulling for 19 minutes, no talking. Is that a 90-minute yoga class? Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. It's just 19 minutes of coconut oil pulling. Don't be mean. Don't be mean and make people do it because then they're going to end up swallowing it, which is not bad. I just think you're supposed to spit. Spitters are coconut oil pullers. Insert spitters are quitters joke.
business school at Stanford before we applied to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600. So that way you can go to the music festival for free. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600. So that way you can go to the music festival for free. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600. So that way you can go to the music festival for free. 895. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600. So that way you can go to the music festival for free. 809. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600. So that way you can go to the music festival for free. 895. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600. So that way you can go to the music festival for free. 895. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600, so that way you can go to the music festival for free. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. You're doing book club at a music conference and selling chapter 11B for $600, so that way you can go to the music festival for free. Because what they don't teach at Stanford Business School is we are going to make our tuition for business school at Stanford before we apply to Stanford by marketing a alum's book that went to Stanford for hashtag product management at South by, which is the hilarious component, which is book club at a music conference. Wish for. This is what I'm wishing. Stand-up comedy on a Tuesday, 11/11. What did you wish for? This is what I'm wishing for, because this evening is going to be filled with OC in the OC, the Oriental Cowboy in Orange County. Who set up your lighting? Do you realize that it's quite the vibe? Yeah, that's the idea. Why? We can be funny in how we approach. Our gig. We can be entertaining in how we prepare to set people up. Are we going to be putting up and then knocking stuff down? Are we going to take too long to grow our basil before we propagate our basil? Are we going to be inseminating each other with ideas? We are, because it's not regular stand-up comedy sitting down. It's YouTube live comedy. Good news, I sold out. 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. That would be in March. What is it today? Day 11 of. Well, the old way was 26 days of OpenAI ducking bankruptcy. But who worked a deal for the betterment of the two of us? That would be this guy. Doing what? Hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking bankruptcy. You see, I happened upon a accounting fraud. This is from a video that was, "Hey Larry, you're a total fraud." Oh yeah? What if I did a video called "How to Speak at a Conference Even If You're Unemployed"? Would that make us both fraudulent together? It would, because now your juxtaposition of transferal gets mixed up between who is calling whom a fraud. Billy has said hi. Billy also chimes in to say, "How are you?" Billy, this is what we're doing. We're doing Raw Dog. What's Raw Dog, Larry? Raw Dog is no microphone. Raw Dog is also stolen from sexual innuendo. Oh my God, did you mean to put me in timeout? I am doing a robot check, which is robots are welcome, but robots are not invited to comment. And us connecting with real humans makes this comedy set even better. That's why on the other side of your 10-second timeout, come back a humanoid. How does a humanoid behave? How does a carbon-based human interact on YouTube Live? 1, shock and awe from, "Oh my God, did you really put me in a timeout?" 2, okay, what game are we playing? The game that we're playing is this. After your timeout, you tell me something that you heard, and then I'll make a joke of that comment. This way, you can listen to comedy as you improve at watching two people interact, therefore getting better, because we're putting people into a 10-second timeout while we get our thoughts organized. What's up, Jeanette? How are you? Making sure you're not a robot. Making sure you're not a robot. While in timeout, THG, how are you? Wondering if you are a robot. I am Larry Chang. I am not a robot. I am moderating my own shiitake. We're not quite making up jokes yet. We are doing a human-to-human test, which is during your timeout, what did you hear? During your timeout, are you going to prove to us that you are not a robot? Jeanette Martinez, you're definitely a robot. Why? Because I think I know you in the real world. No, I'm not a robot. I'm a real human being. My name is Ava in real life. What's up? My first human. First human in this chat. How are you? I'm Larry Chang. We're doing comedy. Larry, say something funny. Non-player character. That's where we tell each other that you're not even fully human. My AI girlfriend is warmer and more inviting. Play with me. Bro, I'm not a robot. Thank you. Pinning you as we hang out. Yes, I am not a robot. What we can do tonight is something that is something that is something you guys are making me crack up. Tonight, we're going to be pretending to be an Oriental guy, pretending to be a robot, pretending to do stand-up. Because Jeanette Martinez says, no, my name is Julian. THE says, you are AI. I already said that. Are you round-tripping my jokes back to me? Which is cool. The way that you know you've made it as a comedian is where you do a show or you get VIP tickets to a show. You attend the show and then you hear your jokes getting told. Extra funny because I tell jokes as if I'm a Chinese guy. So, prior it was a person that had a Latin sounding name, pretending to be a woman, pretending to be a dude. And then I stated confessionally, I am a professional pretending to do stand-up, pretending to be funny. Now we're doing message retraction, which is, so we're just pretending to be you? We can do that, but first what we're doing is we're commenting on something that we heard, and then I read that to make sure you're not a robot, and then us together perform comedy in this monologue. So, comedians, we do a one-way delivery. Best comedians are able to do crowd work, where you look out into the crowd, and then you ask questions, and then you do crowd work. You observe things, you reframe arguments, you make jokes, and then you remember to do callbacks. What we're doing here is a version of that, where we talk and we listen and we get better, because my channel is actually an educational channel called What They Don't Teach You in School. And so when we avoid robots who don't even listen, these robots are just not necessarily trying to steal attention, but they're doing a robotic agenda, which I'll tell you about in a moment. So what we're doing is we're laughing and we're hanging out while I deliver content such as, can I be in a goon with my AI girlfriends? I will go ahead and show you the message. Okay. Is it ethical that my robot AI girlfriend after a stranger online? It's your engineering design. You can do what you'd like. Pretending to be a girl, pretending to be a guy, pretending to enjoy my comedy is layered, where it's confusing to some people, but I get it. There's a saying, hey, if blah, blah, blah heard you, they would roll around in their grave. What we're doing is removing the bone from our pocket. Who keeps a bone? Who keeps a bone in their pocket? No, this is not a human bone. It's a cow bone. You're afraid? Don't be afraid.
now we're doing pretending to be a heterosexual guy, pretending to role play with an AI girlfriend, pretending to have same-sex sex with a AI robot of the opposite sex. So, thank you for helping me write jokes. I will be not giving you guys any of the credit. Just like when I'm going to a show for free. Cool. I would love to get free tickets. I would love 4 free drink tickets. Thank you. To what do I owe this honor? As I'm watching the show get delivered with my 1, Chinese jokes, 2, Asian jokes, 3, Oriental jokes. Why? Why? We're showing and then pinning and then negging, which is show, pin, neg, which is similar to the surprise that I have on my joke list. Coincidentally, show, pin, neg is show something, pin it, that's negative, and then time it out. Ditto, having your joke get stolen. That's an Asian joke. Calling all Chinese people Asian is watering down the fact that Asian people are only racist towards other Asian people. We're not even looking at other people. The reason it's similar to show, pin, neg is when you put someone in timeout, it's like the best foreplay. What I'm meaning here is with stand-up comedy, when you're not desperate to make people laugh, you laugh with them. When you're not desperate to make people laugh harder. When you are encouraging people to pay attention and not laugh, they'll laugh even harder because it's a taboo. That's the timeout, where you time yourself out with, hey, I'm a stand-up comedian. Let me talk to you seriously for a moment. Ha ha ha. That's funny. Why? Because it's time to put you, Julian, in a timeout. Why? Why, Jeanette? Why? Why? Because we're hanging out with people in Canada. We're hanging out with people in Canada. We're hanging out with people in Canada. Canada for the win. By the way, Julians, you guys should meet each other. Plus, congratulations. Cool story about your book date with inviting a girl. I'm assuming. You said it. I don't believe it. Inviting a girl to go on a date and then reading. Cool story, bro. Email the sentences to my email. Larry, is this part of your stand-up routine? Is you have women and guys slide into your text messages? Yes, because there's no such thing as DMing on YouTube. There's no such thing. So slide into DMs would be cross-sorting your own sword over to Instagram. Now there's friction, and not the good kind of friction, such as lubricated friction. This is friction loss, where don't DM me on Insta. What are we catching up on? We're catching up on 2 girls, 1 book. How does that game work? It works pretty well. Ask Julian.
Oh, I don't believe it. Cool story. What I'm going to need is one. This is what I need. Hey, is the Chinese comedian seriously giving us homework right now? Because I'm actually down with that. This isn't brain rot humor. This is brain repair. Yes, the Oriental guy is about to give you some homework, which is one, what did you hear? You heard two girls, one cup of knowledge, sharing a book. That's what you heard. What you did was applied what you learned on November 10th. That's why it's cool story, bro. So the first 8 sentences, what did I hear? I heard two girls, one book. What did I do? I had a date with Julian. What was her name? We'll call her Julia. So you went on a date with your AI robot and you made your AI robot read. Cool story, bro, brah, depending on whichever pronoun that you're selecting for the moment, depending on your pansexuality on the spectrum, which is the middle 8 sentences are what you did, which is I had a date with Julie N, Jules, okay? Maybe her pronouns are they. Its pronouns are we. How did that date go? And then 8 more sentences to lawrence.chang@gmail. Hey, you're two girls, one book? I thought you were joking. But, oh my God, I did one girl, one book, one me, and panty drop. Why? And is this stand-up comedy just turned into a TED Talk? It did. This is why. If I were to say pussy magnet, that would be 8 sentences for magnet de la pussy. If I said vagina whisperer, you'd say, Larry, does that mean I'm using a book to repair her brain on a date where she thought we were going to go to drink alcohol and rot our brain together? But instead, I did a vagina whisperer date because the pronoun that I picked that night was Julian, she. And then she was Julia. So it was a lesbian date between one person who had a vagina and another person who has whatever equipment you're working with below your waist. Now you email all 24 sentences to me. Why do I get those 24 sentences? Because I don't believe you, bro. Okay? I don't believe it. Oh, it's not your first time. Be honest. Be honest. It's not your first time. Yeah, that's why you didn't text me back. Oh, I'm not needing to text you back, okay? Because if I text you back, you're going to be like, hello? Stalker alert. This is why you are now doing Web 12. Did you just make that up? No, I made it up 4 months ago. You see, when I talk shit in comedy, I talk shit not like a Japanese person, because I'm Chinese. The way I talk trash is not like a 5'2" Vietnamese guy or a 5'6" Filipino. I talk my confident trash talk as a 6'2" plus, dare I say 6'5" Chinese guy. What does trash talk lead to? it leads to not hallucinations like the way that AI does, it leads to creativity. So, one day, let's call it day number 11 of the 19 days of Grok 3 at Osaka World Fair. Not even a joke. Hashtag 19 days of Grok 3 at Osaka World Fair. Hat tip Larry Chang coming up with that on day 15 of the hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. Because the good news about this, kids, is that this video self-funds itself. You see, all these hashtags are actually Easter eggs. You see, all these hashtags are connected conversations. In the land of comedy, what I'm doing is a callback to yesterday, 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge. Yesterday, 2 girls, 1 book. Now, these girls are incredibly specific in age because this is real world 2 girls, 1 book, 1 Larry Chang, which is older than 22. Oh, green tea, amazing. Younger than 23. Julian decides in his finite wisdom and below 140 points of IQ to steal this idea with my consent, to cut and paste, copy paste, dare I say, chapter 3, hashtag CH3. Not channel 3, chapter 3, hashtag CH3. What did Julian do? He did 1 Julian, 1 girl, 1 book. What's the proper way? 2 girls, 1 book, 1 Larry Chang. Now the magic happens. Why? Because you may or may not be a pussy magnet. I don't know. I don't want to know. You may or may not be a vagina whisperer. Now you know, which is take her on a date that shows that you have a brain that used to be rotten, now is repaired. Is this another 24 sentences? Yes. Do you see how this homework assignment that I'm giving you came from a joke during day 11 of the 19 days of Grok 3 at Osaka World Fair? What's my energy from? Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club having the wherewithal to ground ourselves with, can you deliver 5 good minutes on YouTube as a listener? Can you put minute to minute together. I'm not going to say a journey of 1,000 steps becomes us. I am going to say 5 good minutes of comedy. Let's try to live rent-free in Austin. Let's try to live rent-free, not in someone's head. Let's let Larry Chang live rent-free, rent-producing even. Old way. People get intimidated by a person who is talking so much trash. Talking so much trash that they live rent-free in your head. What if instead of having a person live negatively rent-free in head, what if that person became a rent producer? What if that person became a person that helped you live rent-free in the world? Old way. You saved up money, bought a house, lived in it for 30 years, sold it at a profit. You lived in it rent-free. It was almost an investment vehicle. That old way, it's dead. That old way is why boomers are hated. This is Gen Z. This is Gen Y. Because Gen X is already taken. Gen Z is now. Gen Y is after Gen Z. These are extrapolations. Let's live rent-free. Paseo. Paseo's a building. They're paying 21 units of hundreds of units to try to get social media to convert into paid tenants. Basically, they're spending 21 to try to make 300, meaning they're giving away 21 free rentals in the hope of selling 300. This is Paseo. This is marketing. This is how to live rent-free. This is my video. I'm Larry Chang. My channel's on What They Don't Teach You in School, and we're playfully studying in a way that it's Saturday and there's no pressure to live rent-free. This is comedic content, which is funny to me and potentially useful to you. We're talking about living rent-free. Am I living rent-free right now? Let's go over why Paseo, a building, is trying to give you free rent and what you're going to need to do for it. This is us playfully exploring on a Saturday, Psycho Saturday. So a building went up and it's not full immediately. That makes sense because it's a brand new building. So what they thought about doing was giving away 21 units. In exchange for that, they want social media that signs up paying tenants, artists, curators, chefs. So there's 7 artists, 7 musicians, 7 random influencers. The goal, renting out 300 units at full price. That's the goal. They're trying to sell rentals. What are we doing? We're exploring what they don't teach you in school about, hey, Larry, why do you rent? Hey, Larry, tell me about the business model of being a tenant. Hey, Larry, if you're so rich, why don't you own? Hey, Larry, let's go over something that is going to be the most useful video that you've ever come across on YouTube called Let's Try to Live Rent Free. I have 6 pages of notes, which I will walk you through. Living rent free. You know it's good when I've got backup to a backup. There's no way that you can cancel this. You can't cancel this. You can't cancel it. Should have been a cowboy. Squeeze key. Is that how I pronounce your username? You don't even know how to pronounce your username. I do. Living rent free. Artists, curators, social media influencers get to live rent free. Here's the problem. Followers don't convert to rent paying tenants. Problem. Just because they're influential in music doesn't mean that they can sell a Paseo building rental. Paseo, if you want to do your due diligence, research, or using AI, Paseo is P-A-S-E-O. Today is December 13th. Coincidentally, it's day number 43 of hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. There are a good number of people who are stressed about paying rent. This is 12 months of free rent. Let's get into it. Artists, curators, social media influencers, the ones that they deem, Paseo deems worthy, get to live in a $2,400 apartment for $0 for 12 months. Does this sound too amazing? Does this sound too amazing? It doesn't. It does not sound too amazing because it's going to seem really basic by the end of this video. 1, training the trainers. So, like applying for a job, what if you already accomplished your job before you started your job? That's the state of who gets free rent. Who gets free rent at Paseo? The people who do are already trained to arbitrage. Even the word Paseo has SEO inside of it. Do you think that the developer even understands Web 12? No. Do you think that the developer even understands artists in residence, Hotel W, how to take the worst floor of a Hotel W, the 13th floor, and turn that worst floor into the best floor? That's artists in residence. This is number 3, a Paseo distribution practice. It's not a perfection because you just started learning about this. It's not a exact science. It's a playbook play from lecture number 16 from yesterday. That would be December 12th. Yesterday, lecture number 16. Because am I going to make you sit through 20 lectures? No, I'm going to give you all 20 lectures thrown into AI. We're talking about Paseo distribution practice, connecting to December 12th, connecting to December 12th, connected to lecture 16. Lecture number 16, within today, day number 43 of hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. What I just said there was a compressed methodology for free rent. It isn't just sign up for a ghost job at Indeed from a company that's not hiring to a person that is an AI person. Fake jobs, fake people, fake protocols. There is no more real of a paragraph than that contrived, engineered lecture number 16, day number 43, hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK, Web 12 Paseo. These are incredibly specific things. It should work for you 100% of the time. Why? Because Web 12 is a battering ram. It's like buying Bitcoin for $32 and then getting an ice cream sandwich because you bought 6 Bitcoin. And this is a joke about Web 5, which is the Bitcoin ship is sailing. You should get on board. But that's going to take money. This is where you get the money from, which is from Web 12. What's Web 12? It's fixing the fact that social media is broken. The next segment, which helps you get free rent, is how to quit Web 2.0. Paseo distribution practice is lecture 16 from yesterday's video called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. They used to teach you at Harvard Business School. It's not that I'm proud of myself for that, because I feel guilty for saying that. But these things got lost like a Jedi, where being a Jedi means that your kill radius is 5 meters. Where we get to benefit after you come out of the timeout from realizing all Web 12 is being a Jedi using an old school tool that's basically a sword. It's a laser sword. Let's benefit by using that pen that you're now needing to go find. Let's find a pen and let's write down Paseo distribution practice. What's the goal? I just landed here I have no idea what's going on, Larry. We're talking about getting free rent in Austin, Texas, starting March. The building, it's got a problem. The developers, they're owing $250 million. What's their marketing budget? I'm not going to say zero, but it's pretty much just 21 apartment units out of hundreds. You get to live rent-free if you fix their problem of, I can't find enough tenants. I can find enough tenants, which is why I'm going to have you benefit from this video, how to live rent-free, the way that Larry Chang lives rent-free. Let's freaking go. Paseo is a building, P as in Paul, ASEO. It's helpful if you already live in the United States and are a U.S. citizen. If you're watching this from the third world, I don't think America's going to be welcoming you because you poop in your street. This building requires you to never poop in the hallway, never poop in the shower, because the pool's really nice on the 23rd floor, requiring you to poop properly. Welcome to America. Self-funding your artist's lifestyle. Hey, Larry, I didn't know that you're an artist. Why do you get to be a artistic curator? Hello, I sing country songs. Let's all live rent-free. Let's all live rent-free. And my other hit song, which is My Sugar Daddy is Making Me Go Bankrupt. Let's not have that happen. Let's sing that song later. Let's realize we're on day 43 of the 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Free rent. Incubator for artists' cash flow. So, artists, really bad at business, okay at artistry. So, while you're trying to sell tenants to live in the building that you live rent-free, you're going to need to be a slightly better business person. Let's learn how this video is an incubator for artists to get slightly better at business. An incubator for artists' cash flow, which is, can your piece of art sell? Can your piece of art sign up 2 new tenants? Incubator for artists cash flow is where you don't immediately go to, Larry, I need to get 7 more subscribers. Larry, I need to get 500,000 more followers. Larry, I need to get more likes. As artists and comedians, within the context of this video, we need to go right specifically at the problem with no money and very few resources, because we're not going to invest $4,000 in a Larry Chang workshop because no such workshop exists. This is why I came up with Web 12. That is what we're doing here. Let's find it right on cue, which is, you're not financing future money with a debt. We're pummeling a pseudo Airbnb. We're pummeling a pummel. We're This video can be a blog post titled, "I can't believe I'm trying to live rent-free in an expensive city, in a specific building, Paseo. This is my step one." I watched the video on day number 43 because no one's going to know about 43. And then people are going to hear, what? Day 43 of the 26 days of Grok 4 ducking bankruptcy? There are only 12 days of Christmas. Oh, but what if Christmas were to be all year long? It wouldn't just be the 12 days of Christmas. Ditto, 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. It was so awesome that we kept going after day number 26. This might be your first day, which is day 43, setting the intention to, okay, this is playful. This guy's actually a psychopath, but he's funny and he's got a lot of energy and I kind of dig his vibe. Let's just play, which is Psycho Saturdays. Let's explain the theory becoming a theorem for how to live rent-free, identifying a problem. Problem. A building is 80% vacant. Problem. So many other people have buildings that are also 80% vacant. This is the problem all across the number one country in the world. This is a problem. Solution: letting 21 people live rent-free in Paseo. That's a solution, which is there's 300 units. There's hundreds of units. Let's say there's a limitless number of units. So now, can you be one of the people that lives rent-free? Now you got another problem, which is how are we going to pick these 21 people? This is the cheat code for how to apply. This is the cheat code. This is Paseo distribution practice. Point number, pseudo Airbnb. So pseudo is fake, but the way that I do something fake is more real than any real thing. Why? Because I sniff out fake stuff and I make the joke that sounded like it was funny and I turned it into a real thing. Look at yesterday. The video is called "What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School." They used to teach you at Harvard Business School. That is the biggest FU because they didn't teach it, but they used to teach it. It got worse. That's lecture 16, even though yesterday was 1 through 20. All 20 are published on one day. Portion 16 of 20 is lead generating leads. What we're talking about for Paseo is lecture 16, which is, can you generate leads? I'm moving my piece of paper to be in front of me. This video is simply about lead generation. That's a business term for, can you find potential people that want to live in Paseo? It'll also help for you to take notes because the building itself is real. This is Psycho Saturday.
What has happened on prior Psycho Saturdays? We sold one thing on eBay. Larry, what else has happened on Psycho Saturdays? This is an amazing video. Oh, thank you. What has also happened is we did book club. We also had a joke that became a franchise called Two Girls, One Cup of Knowledge. That would be lecture number 9 within What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. They now teach you on Larry Chang's YouTube channel, which is Two Girls, One Cup of Knowledge for living rent-free. Let me repeat that because some of these jokes are written on the fly. Two Girls, One Cup of Knowledge about living rent-free, a pseudo Airbnb. So, what is Airbnb? I know you know what it is, but what I'm asking is an empowering question, which is, what is Airbnb if you don't own property? What is it? It's renting out your rental. The bad business model, which is going to cause 50, 60, 80% of people to go bankrupt, is the Airbnb old business model, which is, oh, I'm going to take out a huge mortgage and hope that I get 20 nights a month for break even. Let me repeat that business model. Going massively in debt and getting screwed if you're dark 10 days a month. Dark meaning you don't have an Airbnb tenant. 5 months of that in a row, and now you're in default. Then there's a foreclosure. Risk, risk, risk. What we're talking about here today is no risk, no money, no capital, just pure Web 12. Why? Because this is some genius shit that's coming out of Duck 9, deeply understanding credit knowledge. Duck 9, deeply understanding capital knowledge. Duck 9, deeply understanding currency knowledge. Duck 9, deeply understanding Chinese knowledge. Duck 9. Duck 9 as Larry the Starfish with a 5-prong attack on, let's try to rent out a rental of a building that we don't own. I picked out a building. It's called Paseo. That's what a pseudo Airbnb is you're selling not your Airbnb, you're doing lead generation for somebody else's Airbnb. By renting out your rental, which you should write down in a sentence to put in a box, you now understand the business model of 3 billionaires, which is Hilton, Hyatt, and Westin. And I know that these sound like jokes because it's hilarious. But if you look at Paris Hilton's family's company, they don't own the building that they're renting you a hotel room for 4 nights. They don't own it. So their business model is renting out what they rented. Pritzker family, billionaires, ditto. Being able to offload risk to somebody else, transferring the risk from yourself to other people. This inherently is deeply understanding capital knowledge, risk. 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge also jettisons to 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge about living rent-free. Also goes to 1 guy, 2 books. 1 guy, 2 books at a Paseo. Why? Because we're my idea of risk and reward is for me to get the reward and others to take the risks. Let me repeat that. That's what you want to do. Pro game crew 12. Hey, jump in for this. Welcome to this channel. My idea of risk and reward is for me to get the reward and others to take the risk. Risk reward management. One fascinating aspect of business is the degree to which the future is hard to predict. A colleague, Howard Stevenson, who's friends with Bird Grosbeck, said, "True entrepreneurs want to capture all the reward and give all the risk to others." This is the value of spending $275,000 for a class that you could have gotten free on YouTube, free, from Larry Chang. That textbook that I was holding, it was a single-digit number of dollars. It was either $5 plus or minus $2. Look up this research, what they, New Business Ventures and The Entrepreneur. Look it up, used on Amazon. And if you're from a third world country, Amazon is also in India. So thank Jeff Bezos. Look up New Business Ventures and The Entrepreneur. What we're doing is we're staying on script. We could talk about Indiana Jones, or we could talk about couch surfing Bill Murray. Couch surfing is similar to Airbnb, but slightly more sketchy. This could be an API that is applicable. Why? Because couch surfing is another option for South by Southwest. Couch surfing is another option for Austin City Limits. Couch surfing is another methodology to get not butts into seats, but get people into beds. What we're talking about, good morning, is how to live rent-free in a building called Paseo. Which is starving artists into thriving artists. I recommend that you not take a nap right now, because this video, it's going dark. As soon as it ends, this content is going to be amazing, because the groundwork is going to springboard you. We're talking about something called loading and exploding, and I'm citing specific days. Today is day number 43. For you, this is the most important day in your life. Why? Because I'm going to help you stack YouTube videos where you're going to realize 2 points. 1, 90% of the work you've already done. You're also going to realize, oh my God, 90% of the work I need to do, I've already done.
Now I just need to organize the last 10% to live rent-free. This is how to go from starting being artist to thriving.
If this video were to end now,
This video would already be
away 28 units in order to sell hundreds. That's the math.
let's benefit from being able to save $2,500 a month in rent. Let's go. It's lecture 16, which is lead generation. You even writing 12 sentences of
This video helps build awareness. It might generate you
1 to 3 leads. Lecture 16 is lead generation. Maybe you've never tried lead generation before. Maybe you've never written a blog post. Maybe you've not the time preference to do work with delayed gratification. This is why it's Larry the Starfish promoting Duck 9. Deeply understanding credit knowledge. Deeply understanding capital knowledge. Deeply understanding Chinese knowledge. Deeply understanding Ducking 9, which is credit code charge-off. Deeply understanding venture capital knowledge. Because Larry the Starfish is not intimidating. I mean, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's so cute. Are we going to play a game called One Guy, Two Starfish? Because we go to a coffee shop in Paseo and we play a game that's similar to Two Girls, One Cup.
Is this lecture 9?
What am I talking about when I'm
Citing lectures. What am I talking about when I'm citing days?
day number 42 of the 26 days of Grok 4 ducking bankruptcy was a special day. It was a special day. That special day is special because what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School, they used to teach you at Harvard Business School. Because that's a class you didn't take, which is Search Fund, which is how you're going to get free rent. Because you don't need to buy the building Paseo to take it over. Literally take it over. Because all you're doing is practicing renting out one rental. Okay. I feel you. So this is the genius in it. Turn off your other screens, stop watching cable TV news, okay? And turn off your Rumble for a moment. Focus. There's a class at Harvard, and I know that intimidates you, but I swear yesterday's video was done at the 7th grade level. And that was this. You don't have to buy the business to turn it around. I don't have to enslave you to deslave you because you're in prison right now, which is the middle class has been secretly waged a war upon. So I don't need to turn you around by owning you. I can just turn you around and make you better via a video. In fact, I don't want to even meet you. Ditto you for doing a turnaround. Thank you. Your brain should be exploding. Let's keep playing and let's take a breath. Let's drink some water. And it's about to become even more amazing. Problem.
You're trying to remember things that I'm saying,
And everything that I'm saying becomes a better vibe and more valuable, and your brain's about to explode. This happens all the time. This happens all the time. It's because you're retarded, gay and retarded. So let's no longer be pansexual, neurodivergent. Let's no longer be dumb. Let's no longer be gay. Let's let me tell the jokes. Let's let me tell the jokes. This is going to help you, which is map. Get a crappy piece of paper, because I know you don't have a good notebook. I know you don't have clean paper. So just get a piece of junk mail or a credit card bill that you're not opening because you're too depressed about how much money you owe. Find any piece of paper and write this website down. You're going to have more benefit from that one page of notes than all YouTube videos that you've ever come across. Let me restate my accurate trash talk. By writing down Paseo, ATX, P as in Paul, ASEO, ATX, which is slang for Austin, ATX, www.paseo, PASEOATX.com. That mere act of putting pen to paper will turn this video, which is going to last 2.5 hours, into the most Jedi shit you've ever come across. Why? 1, I'm locked in. 2, I came to play. I came to play 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge about living rent-free with 2 starfish. Lecture 9, day 42. Hashtag 26 days of Grok 4 ducking BK. Think of what you just entered as an NFL huddle, where you've never played in the NFL and you didn't realize that it's 11 guys playing full contact chess. And this is a strategy that you've never come across, which is 1, using a hashtag. This is a strategy you've never come across, which is, oh my God, I'm actually taking notes on a video. I thought these were supposed to be jokes. The funniest joke you'll ever hear or be told is the joke that causes you to go from negative $15,000 to millionaire. And I just said a word that is going to cause your brain to bubble over, because during this Great Depression, which we are in, make no mistake about it, I'm literally talking about how to make $1 million with Web 12, aka Zero Money, aka a yoga workshop. You see, I did a video on day number 37, aka November, aka December 9, called, you might check the math on that, called 19 minutes of blowing your nose. It's a yoga class. Is this 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge via a 19-minute video on doing yoga? How does this connect to Paseo? You see, you have no money, and I'm not selling you a workshop. You're in the workshop right now. Every joke I tell is hilarious to me, and it's funny to you too. It's going to be even more funny when you do it. Because, Larry, let me get this extrapolated, because I'm actually taking notes now. You're telling me I need to do a 19-minute yoga class where we do 1 yoga maneuver called Nadi Shodhana breathing? This is how yoga class works This is how to sign up people for Paseo. You see, Paseo is going to be chock full of hot, rich girls that have a sugar daddy that's buying them an apartment that's a one bedroom. Pick one bedroom in any part of Austin. Larry, I thought you said sugar daddies cause people to go bankrupt. Yeah, if you stay in it too long, but we're trying to get up and going. We can't solve every problem all at once, but what we can do is a 19-minute yoga class that signs up people for Paseo, the apartment building that is currently mostly vacant. The way they're going to try to solve that problem is with a Hail Mary. Let's give out 21 units. Let's give out 21 units. What is my financial relationship to Paseo? There is none. I am going to double the occupancy rate before the end of this video. Let me repeat that, because this is how to do a turnaround if you're really good at doing a turnaround. Who benefits from this? A certain single-digit number of people that are going to spend 5 to 15 hours mapping out, hey, Larry, I watched your video. I want to live rent-free in Paseo. This is the work I've done. This is my map. This is the 12 sentences that I wrote in response to your video. You see, I say something and then you do something. But the doing something thing is so low that you can just do a 12-sentence book report on this video, which is, what did you hear that causes you to say, I'm going to now do one lead? What is something that you've heard that's going to say, hey, this is the first time I've ever taken notes on a video? Brady, you drink so much water. Good job, buddy. You want some more water? Brady, stay. Brady, you drink so much water. Hey, stay. No, stay. No, Brady, out. Good boy. No, stay. WANGHAF. WANGHAF. Oh, the turnout blueprint suite. Thank you, Larry Chang. It's the turnaround blueprint. We're turning around Paseo because that building, it's in jeopardy. This is you marching towards free rent. It's a 19-minute yoga class. It's a 19-minute yoga class. It's a 19-minute yoga class. It's also propagating this basil while propagating apathos. PATHOS. While DJing in
DNA House. While DJing in DNA House. Why are we getting free rent for DNA House with Paseo ATX? And what are you doing with that plant? Do you like the hair? Do you like the hat hair? DNA House DJs to Paseo ATX, which is your blueprint for living rent-free while propagating a pathos. What's a pathos? What are all those random things? They're not random things, they're specific things. They are Lecture 16, Now You Can Just Relax. Now You Can Just Relax. Which is Lecture 16, today 43. Once you can connect this unlock code, which is Lecture 9, 2 girls, 1 cup. Lecture 9, 2 girls, 1 cup, 2 starfish. In the same way that when I heard what Web 2 was, I coined Web 5, 4, and 3, and Web 12. You benefit here because no one's ever heard of what Web 12 is. Congratulations, you just made $800 because Web 12 is July 11, 2025. All we're doing to get people into Paseo is we're doing Web 12. Do you remember before where I brought up DNA Fund? That's an underwater venture capital firm that is underwater because they did too much Web 3. Yes. Yes! Larry Silverspoof, getting it. You're propagating something from something that already exists. Lecture over. Lecture over. This has been the most amazing video since videos were, rest in peace, Susan Wojciechowski, who's the CEO of YouTube. Let's pray real quick because this video needs a prayer. Father Lord, I know that Susan is probably Jewish and she may be in hell right now, but maybe let me go visit her in hell in the year 2129 for when I pass away, and don't let me go right into heaven because I want to visit Susan Wojciechowski real quick. Father Lord, also thank you for Larry Silverspoof talking about propagating because, oh my God, his brain is actually on now, whereas before his brain was not on, or on but not good.
all we're doing, Lord Jesus, is taking things from the Bible and benefiting. I know. Taking things from the Bible and writing a Christian book that's biblically based. I know. Wait, is that how everything works? Propagation? Oh my God. Is this video just a Bible study? Father Lord, if people have never prayed before, maybe have them pray this prayer as the first prayer, which is, thank you, Lord, for the blessing of this lifetime and this video. In Jesus' name we pray, and we'll remember to maybe pray again before this video ends. Also, Lord, thank you seriously for my brain. And also, sorry for asking for the ability to throw 180 miles an hour, because that's just over the top, and I kind of don't want that. And also, why do I want to play shortstop? Like, you gave me a body, a 6'5" body that is torso long, where I should play catcher. So thank you for giving me the gift to play catcher. I'm going to do the DEI, defensively excellent infielder transition from shortstop to catcher. Thank you also for letting me mentor Tom Brady, who also is catcher and quarterback of the infield in a football field. Father Lord, thank you for my perfect body that operates super well. Or maybe do let me throw 180 miles per hour left-handed and right-handed when I'm 85 years old, because that would be hilarious. Also, Lord, thank you for the free rent, and thank you for letting me steward so much money. Lord, you love talking about money so much that the Bible talks more about money than any other topic. So thank you for all the money. Thank you for all the money that we're going to steward. In Jesus' name we pray. Oh, also, Lord, thank you for my dog, Tom Brady. Also, Lord, please say hi to Augie Garrido. Also say hi to my mother. And say hi to Baxter. Oh, my Shih Tzu. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Oh, Brady. Oh, Brady. All dogs go to heaven. We're talking about lead generation. Not to be the obnoxious Christian guy, but that prayer should get 2 new tenants for Paseo. No. So yeah. So look at what's his name? Shohei Momani. Shohei, his family killed a ton of Chinese people. Being able to hit 3 home runs and pitch like that was unheard of. So 180 miles per hour, that's not that impossible. Let's say I fall short and throw 120. I mean, I've got all the gifts. And what better way than to convert Jewish people, all of them, to Jesus, than to be the person who inked a JBA, a Jew in Business Administration, a JBA. Like, all the secrets are hiding. Just say Jesus is your savior, and we just achieved world peace. We just achieved it. Let's get you free rent.
Good job, Larry Silverspoof, with you're propagating something. You're propagating. That's all we're doing. That's why this video ended already, where I was planning on doing 3 hours, but it just ended. Let's playfully keep going, but this video would have been amazing had it ended 10 minutes ago. Green tea. Hey, what page of Limitless is green tea? What page? What page? Remember, if you want to make this money, you gotta mushy. Hey, if you want this money, which Larry Silverspoof, shame on you for never emailing and never texting. Shame on you. Shame on you, and good job. You want to get yelled at. You want to get yelled at because 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge is lecture 16, lecture 9. We're doing lecture 16, which is lead gen. Propagating. So the reason that Larry Silverspoof's comment, did you say your? It's you are. Y-O-U-R-E. Are you African? Oh my God. That does make sense. Are you an African-American woman? You are. That's okay. I mean, a lot of people on YouTube, they pretend to be a different ethnicity, pretending to be a different gender. It's you are. Y-O-U-R-E. You're propagating something from something that already exists. DNA Fund. You're propagating something from something that already exists. Paseo. You're propagating something that already exists. Larry the Starfish pulling triple duty. What triple duty is Larry the Starfish pulling? Larry the Starfish is the mascot for MicroStrategy, which will become the #1 most valuable company in the world after it goes through a little bit of hell, maximum pain. Larry the Starfish, deeply understanding credit knowledge, Duck 9, avoiding credit code 9, deeply understanding capital knowledge, deeply understanding venture capital knowledge, Duck 9, doing turnarounds. That's Larry the Starfish pulling pentagonal duty, penta 5-way. What we're doing here is we're just propagating something from something that already exists. Step 1 is, can you write 12 sentences about your insight? Because you constantly talking on Web 2 means that you're stuck in Web 2. Why is Web 2 being stuck? Because you've never benefited from one YouTube video financially. Have you benefited from one YouTube video? Have you benefited from one YouTube video? Because somebody has benefited 499,000 times, 906. 499, 906. 499, 906. That was the amount of Bitcoin March 2025. Hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at SXSW. Are we propagating from Paseo back to Paseo? Yes. Because yesterday I did a video called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. They used to teach you at Harvard Business School. So now we're going back to Paseo, round tripping it back. What's our goal? Our goal is to get free rent. And maybe you don't want free rent because you live in your parents' basement. Let's pretend like you're getting a fuck pad at Paseo
this video just became amazing.
And from fuckpad, I mean, from a Christian standpoint, it's a go there and make out. So it's first base only. First base only pad sounds pedantic. Fuck pad makes it sound more scandalous. Let's get you a fuck pad at Paseo.
This is a safe space for heterosexuals. This is a safe space for heterosexuals to live friend-free.
So,
by finding one pothos plant,
we're going to propagate that plant in a DNA Fund cup.
So,
we're taking a plant, and we're propagating it because nobody's going to give you
$250,000. I laugh because people will give you $250,000.
But let's pretend that they won't. This is so deep because this is deeply understanding venture capital knowledge. Larry the Starfish says
Layer 2 VC. Four layers to venture capital. They all apply to Paseo. Layer 1 of venture capital is the calendar, which is
people are going to want to live in Paseo during a music festival called South by Southwest. That's the layer 1, which is the calendar. Looking at the calendar, today is December 13, aka day number 43.
If you don't write this down, I will laugh at you because
some other person, if this were a classroom, there'd be
6 people.
And 2 of the people would get rich. And then the other 4 people would be like, why are those 2 retards getting rich? And then you would either go on Quora and write a bad review for Larry Chang, which you should go read those reviews.
Or you would just say, oh my God, I'm an idiot. Let's try this again.
What day number is it today? I just told you the day. What day number is it today? What day number is it today? Do you want to see my Jordan 7s? I think I've had like 60 pairs of Jordan 7s. Ah! Hashtag CHA11SXP.
That's your hashtag. Where is my mother effing email with the subject line, Chapter 11, Smashing X Pumpkin? Where is that? So the fact that you know it's 43, like, fuck yourself in the face
for not benefiting after yesterday's 3 hours of genius, which I even gave I mapped a new hashtag for you. This is what we're talking about here. Smashing X Pumpkin, I think, is black. And never had a mentor. This is why I'm the vagina whisperer, because I can sniff out ethnicities. Why? Because
I am the vagina whisperer, and I recognize pussy everywhere in all its different forms.
Chapter 11, SXP.
Why are you not exploding with comments?
Have you taken
any notes. This is what we're talking about. Are you sure? Are you sure? Cause I'm getting readings of no dad. Yes, everybody has a biological father, but where's your biological father? Okay, the reason I know this stuff a little too well is this is not my first rodeo where I've given people this much money. This is not my first rodeo. Why? Because I'm really good at propagating. Oh, the reason I have 6 pairs of the same shoe is losers will see me and they'll say, "Oh, Larry always wears the same pair of shoes. Larry always wears the same clothes." And then I make $1 million betting that you'll never catch me in the same pair of shoes on back-to-back days. And so I'm like, "You want to bet $1 million that I never wear the same pair of shoes 2 days in a row?" And they're like, "We saw you wear the same pair of shoes on Monday and Tuesday," which is why when I travel, I'll buy another pair of shoes because I don't pack more than 2 pairs of shoes. This is how to guess what retarded rich people think. So I'm baiting you into saying, "You're poor, you always wear the same pair of shoes." I'm baiting you into saying that because some people, their brain can't handle the fact that I know everything that you're gonna think. And I know that sounds arrogant, but if that weren't true, why have I not gotten a Rolex from you to say, "Hey, I watched 10 videos, I made $800,000, this is your Rolex," right? That's why. Yeah, I actually never wear boots because I need to be athletic. Because I can actually play basketball in these shoes. Because they're Nike Airs. So, all these things are actually Paseo. Layer 1 venture capital. Layer 1 deeply understanding venture capital. The calendar. By understanding that today is day 43, good job. I'm a point guard. The way that I know the tallest guy on the team should run point, period. Like, it's not, I'm going to go rebound your bullshit shot. I should be jacking up shots from 3-land, which is us at Paseo jacking up threes as if the basket is huge. Who's watching this video and not liking? Who? In fact, if you are watching and already liked it, like it again so that way I know that you already liked it, and then leave it double liked. Why? I don't need likes. I need to know that you're emotionally into it. I need to know that I need to know that you're emotionally into it. So if you already were watching, double like it. What, there's only 2 people watching? There's only 2 people watching. Like it again to be triple liked. So, what we're doing is the pinned tweet, pinned Larry Silverspoof. No response to the prior questions. That's okay. The reason that we're doing Web 12 is it's faster. I say something, you do something. You wrote something that is correct or incorrect, you make that adjustment super fast. You don't just Web 2 it, which is, oh, next time Larry talks, I'm going to come up with
you're propagating something from nothing. That's the turnaround. External API. We're still talking about the same thing. It's just that your nodes kind of suck right now. It's an external API. That's what DNA Fund is. It's an external API. It's an external API to, it's an external API. That's what we're doing with renting out your rental to a celebrity that Instagrams. This video is right on script because the pothos plant and the basil plant, that's themed interior design that doubles as a podcast studio rental. Do you even need to do it inside the Paseo? No, you just need to have one pothos plant that you got that's commensurate with Paseo. What would the Factory of Capital / Fund of Founders incubator look like inside of Paseo? Let me repeat that question because you should be writing furiously because I'm handing out $800 bills. What would the Factory of Capital / Fund of Founders incubator look like? What would it look like inside of Paseo? What would it look like? Why are the comments all of a sudden slow? Why are the comments all of a sudden slow? Is it because you're taking notes? If you're new here, hi, I'm Larry. Maybe that's why it echoes in here. My channel's on what they don't teach you in school. This is Saturday. We're doing some Psycho Saturday stuff. True story. I want you to live rent-free from March to March. Think about how stress-free you'd be if you didn't have to worry about paying for rent because you got rent-free. Hey, Larry, are you trying to live rent-free in my head right now? No, I'm trying to have you live rent-free in the real world while I live in your head producing revenue. Because lecture 1, it doesn't take money to make money. Lecture 9, 2 girls, 1 cup of knowledge. You see, Paseo has a coffee shop. It is filled with seemingly hot girls that are 4 if they were living in Miami. That does make sense. Thank you. So, remember, we're not trying to sell plants. We're trying to do what I'm talking about. Prime colors. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Because I had to just read what you're talking about. What am I talking about? That's a question, which is another question that I'm asking, which is what would the Factory of Capital / Fund of Founders incubator inside of Paseo, what would that act like and what would that look like? What would that act like and what would that look like? Because us asking that causes us to answer that question with 12 sentences that get published at Duck9. Why are we publishing stuff even though we ourselves are not perfect? When you email publish, I'll post it. When you email me, I'll publish it for you at Duck9. Ideally, you do your own website, but we're all about speed. We're not all about being perfect. We're all about propagating. So in the same way that a pothos plant can get propagated, my Duck9 website propagates to your website. We're not doing social media by doing social media. We're doing Web 12, which is you email me 12 sentences, 2 pictures with one focus for this is what I learned day 43. And then I'll have questions via email, and then you answer those questions with another email. Speed of information exchange is where everyone that I meet that are rich, they respond super fast. And I'm not talking about notifications on. I'm talking about speed of response time. Not pretending to be busy, pretending to have an important schedule, pretending to be real. This is where when you ask about a person who might be going to Stanford, you ask their football coach, you ask their basketball coach, you ask their baseball coach. Hey, I got a question. It's always the football coach who responds back fastest because football is the most competitive, most profitable sport. Therefore, the most competent people are football head coaches. This is why when you ask the football coach, the basketball coach, the baseball coach, the football coach responds fastest. Ditto college. College football head coaches make 10 times what everybody else makes, but they also respond 10 times faster. I don't make the rules, I just read the room. Paseo Film Fest within a film fest. You're welcome. I'm not going to repeat that. You should have a pen furiously scribbling. This is how to live rent-free by propagating stuff that I say, propagating into money. California founder. Oh, you're welcome. You see, a California founder Yes, but not in that order. Yes, Larry, yes. California founder, a library card, a vet bill, a USPS address, fuck pad, jam pad, crash pad, hoe pad, anon pad, California founder. This is the easiest way. This is easy. This is so easy. So, a person, they're going to sell their company. This happens all the time. When you sell your company, it takes you about 90 days to actually collect the money. So, company on TechCrunch, we're going to sell our company. They're going to forget to rent an apartment in Texas. They're going to forget. What happens when you sell a company in California? You're going to pay about 60% in tax. But if they cut a check to your apartment in Texas, you're going to have to pay, let's just say, a whole lot less in tax. So, using some basic numbers, you're charging a person not even $80,000 to save $10 million. Any retard would be able to say, oh, I'd be willing to spend $80,000 to save $10 million. But maybe that makes you mad. Maybe the Interstate Commerce Act makes you mad. Maybe
you should say thank you for this video because I am chock full of arithmetic ideas. Speaking of arithmetic, let's continue to layer 2 venture capital, deeply understanding VC knowledge, Duck 9, while we do a turnaround of a building that you don't own yet. You don't own Paseo, but you're acting like an owner. How does it feel to feel like an owner? How does it feel? It feels stressful, doesn't it? Welcome to being a landlord. It actually sucks. Renting out your rental, much better. California founder, a library card, a vet bill, a USPS address, fuck pad, jam pad, crash pad, hope pad, a non-pad. This is ROI for Paseo before Paseo. Larry Silverspoof now asks, would you ask to live in one of the apartments in order to hold a yoga class at the premises in order to promote the apartment complex? You always mix up the order, Larry. You always mix up the order. You always mix it up. The answer to that is I already did it in a 19-minute yoga class on YouTube. I already did it. Who's watching this and not liking it? Who's watching this and not liking it? Who? I'm genuinely curious. Because if you can't like yourself, you're either hate watching this or some other version of constipatedly watching this versus in flow. Speaking of flow, the yoga class that you're teaching, it already got taught with 19 minutes on December 9. December 9, 19 minutes of how to blow your nose. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to undo the work I already did. That's why Web 12 is amazing, because you're not getting that 90% already exists. You're not getting that 90% you've already done. You're not getting the 90% thing, because in your mind, you're at 0 because you asked a disempowering question, which is, would you ask to live in one of the apartments in order to hold a yoga class at the premises in order to promote the apartment complex? While that's an engaged question, it's not. It shows that your map is blank. It shows me that your map is blank. It shows me that your map is blank. Your map is blank. Where's your biological father? Because I've asked you 30 times to map something. Your map is currently blank. Because the way to make your map work is write 12 sentences about your answer that I just gave you. But you've never written 12 sentences and emailed them. And so now I'm asking in a grind everything to a halt for the slow person in the front row, which is good to be in the front row asking questions as a moderator. I don't know how I made you moderator, but whatever. Why won't you email 12 sentences? I don't like to engage in something I don't understand. There you go. That's your inherent problem. Where's your biological father? Did he take off? And I don't want to even ask this, but I know it. And that's where you're stuck. We're right at the point of why you won't just pick up $800. I don't like to engage in something I don't understand. You're stuck. And it's because and I know why you're stuck.
it's because your dad messed you up. Where did your biological father go? Where did your biological father go? Forgive him for being a douchebag. Forgive him for doing what you're doing, which is not making the money from the library card. Think of me as a library where, like the AI, which now is real, think of me as a book that you picked up one time and now the book is talking. Oh, is this like an audiobook? Forgive your father for also not making money because that's why he was a shitty dad. Will you say, I forgive my father? Me, I had a great dad, which is why old dudes love me, because I am the fossil whisperer. My dad's watching TV, thinks that's why I'm having comprehending Larry Chang's genius. That kind of doesn't make sense. No, you are wrong. My dad has been around. Maybe the relationship isn't strong. Trust has been broken, but he didn't abandon me. Right there. Right there. Right there is why you're stuck. You should just say thank you to your dad being a shitty dad. You should, because you're not thankful. Which is why when I do help you make $600,000, you're never going to give me a Rolex that costs $5,000. And that's okay. And that's okay. And that's why I asked you if you're black. Because I am the whisperer. Brady Bear. Brady Bear. Time to do Brady Bear's eye drops. What do you want to talk about next? This video ended 30 minutes ago. What do you want to talk about next? What do you want to talk about next? Somebody's catching up to you. My new goal is to map out how I'm going to buy Larry a Rolex as soon as possible. When you say that Rolexes are overrated, you're saying that you don't want to live rent-free, and you're also saying that the thank you gifts don't get aced. So let's talk about white people for a second. Seeing as how I am the whitest white person that I've ever met, this is why there is no patriarchy. This is why there is no barrier. It's because Caucasian people, what we're really good at is we're really good at saying thank you. So unpopular opinion, no one really knows which watch brands besides Rolex, so the social value is lower. This is depressing, but hilarious. Remember, this video is called 5 Minutes of Jokes. What's easier? Yeah, you're just, everything that you said means that you're not thankful. And gratitude, I mean, that's why I called out your relationship with your father so clearly. And this is where I don't want a Rolex from you.
but your likelihood of buying a Rolex for me is 0.0% because you refuse. You refuse. I don't like to engage in something I don't understand. Your level of understanding, you'll only start to do this when your level of understanding this surpasses mine, which is not possible. It is literally not possible for you to be number one in entrepreneurship education on planet Earth. It is impossible. Why? Because I'm going to keep getting better. And right now, my lead in Silicon Valley is a 26.3-mile lead in a marathon known as entrepreneurship education. Remember, a marathon is only 26.2 miles. My lead is 26.3 miles. I don't like having to say this because it makes me sound like the dumb guy who doesn't know he's dumb saying that he's a smart guy. But the thing that I understand on 650,000 levels is the most powerful number in the universe in physics is also the most powerful number in the universe when it comes to venture capital. Deeply understanding venture capital, layer 2 VC, which is, can two stuffed animals make more money than Larry Silverspoof? Yes. Because you say, I don't like to engage in something I don't understand. Where you refuse to leave the number 0. This is where I don't want to be number one in entrepreneurship education in Silicon Valley, in the United States of America, in Miami, in Silicon Valley, where I don't want to be number one. But this is why I'm number one by 26.3 miles, which is I'm doing a turnaround of an apartment building that's about to go bankrupt. And I'm turning it around by spending 3 hours. We're not even half, we're just over half. Doing more in a 3-hour video to help them avoid bankruptcy because they can't do enough leads. Bankruptcy, it's imminent. Bankruptcy is kind of coming for all of us. How do you feel about the middle class? Do you realize what happens when money dies? Do you realize what happens when money dies? Who can make more money? These two stuffed animals or you? It turns out that's why layer 2 of venture capital is propagation, where you refuse to propagate one, but you inherently have also a bad map where you won't email, you won't text, you won't publish your NGMI. Paseo, vibe code ROI for Paseo before Paseo. So, rent's gonna be 80 grand, 60 grand, 50 grand, okay? 28 grand, some number of grand for you to get free rent. What if you got ROI for Paseo before Paseo gives you free rent? Oh, is this like a Christmas party that looks like it costs
navigate a dog park. You look at the Christmas party and then you ask yourself, hey, what if this $800,000 Christmas party were to get ROI before the party ends? History does repeat. The middle class dies when money dies. You are only left with the hyper rich and those that are in abject poverty. While that is true, the number of new rich people is amazingly high, because all the people that you think are rich, those people are going bankrupt too. This is the greatest wealth transfer opportunity since history began. Welcome to Web 12. That's my vibe. Did you finish college? How far away from a 4-year? The reason I ask these things is you should have finished college. And I'm not saying go finish college now, but I'm saying finish my young Padawan who's older than me. Finish Larry Chang YouTube before going to the dark side. Are you Anakin Skywalker? Yeah, because you got red-pilled too late in life. Be the person who's the 35-year-old intern. Be a 35-year-old intern. Because I sniffed the fact that you didn't finish school. You should just finish something. And I'm not saying 4-year colleges are all that matter. I'm saying, what have you done from beginning to end? Will you do one thing beginning to end, which is Paseo? Will you do Paseo beginning to end for 3 hours? Will you? You should. And what does it mean to go beginning to end? It means being EIR on Rainy Street in Paseo. What's EIR? It's Entrepreneur in Residence. What does that entail? I don't do anything unless I know what it entails. It entails writing one email per Larry Chang video.